Right now at noon, big changes are coming to the care provided by Planned Parenthood of Wisconsin. What led to the decision and the impact to those who use it. Plus, federal prosecutors are nearing a decision on whether to charge former FBI Director James Comey, the key deadline they're facing. This is News 3 Now at noon. Thanks for joining us. I'm Josh Spreiter. Right now, Planned Parenthood of Wisconsin is set to temporarily stop abortion services starting October 1st. The Milwaukee Journal reports they're pausing appointments as they navigate the impact of the president's tax and spending bill, which cuts Medicaid funding. The nonprofit vows to resume full reproductive care soon and is actively seeking legal and civic solutions. Planned Parenthood serves about 50,000 people across Wisconsin, and 60% are covered by Medicaid. Of the state's 24 clinics, 3 provide abortions in Madison, Milwaukee, and Sheboygan. The Sheboygan site offers medication abortions only, while Madison and Milwaukee also provide surgical options. Beyond abortion services, the nonprofit provides STD testing, pregnancy testing, family planning, emergency contraception, and birth control. Madison's Dairy Drive homeless encampment will close with residents ordered to vacate by noon tomorrow. That's according to the State Journal. The city opened the site in 2021 as a temporary COVID-19 response funded mainly through federal dollars. A measure to extend the contract with Madison Street Medicine failed by just 1 vote. The encampment costs about $70,000 a month, and keys must be returned by October 1st. The closure coincides with Mayor Satya Rhodes Conway announcing the near completion of a $27 million men's shelter on the city's north side. The Sun Prairie School District is facing new turmoil as the HR director is now under investigation. The Department of Public Instruction is reviewing Chris Sadler's administrative license. The new records show he spoke to one of the former dean's alleged victims and her mother after someone sent a tip to the district. He decided there was no evidence of an inappropriate relationship. Still, his role requires him to report the incident to the police regardless of findings. It's all connected to the former West High Dean of Students, Robert Gilkey Messigeyer. He's charged with 2 counts of child sexual exploitation and 13 counts of possessing child sex abuse material. He has pleaded not guilty. DPI also placed West High School Principal Jennifer Pluger's license under investigation earlier this month. Public Health Madison and Dane County is issuing an overdose spike alert. Health officials say EMS responded to 5 confirmed overdoses in just 24 hours this week. It's still unclear what's behind the spike. They say the makeup of street drugs may have changed, possibly including opiates, fentanyl, or other synthetics. Officials are urging people who use drugs or know someone who does to carry Narcan. Fentanyl test strips are also available at Public Health Madison and Dane County's East Washington and Park Street locations. Now, first check of your first warm weather. Here's meteorologist Blaze Keller. Hi, Blaze.
Hello. It is a beautiful sunny day as we begin to make our way closer to the weekend, the first one of fall. We're taking a live look on our Dodgeville Upland Hill Skycam, where it's 72 degrees. Winds are light, and they're going to continue to remain light as we go throughout the day. It's 72 in Dodgeville as well as in Lone Rock, 69 in the Dell, 63 starting out the afternoon in Watoma, 68 in Madison. It's 70 right now in Janesville. We'll take it into Dane County. We're at 68 in Sauk City, 70 in Mount Horeb. We're looking at 69 in Middleton as well as in Deerfield. We're going to continue to sit underneath these quiet conditions really through the rest of the day and almost through the entire extended forecast. So we'll take a look at that here in just a few minutes. But here is a look at the next couple of hours, taking us into the dinner time frame and then even beyond that as we go into the early overnight. Josh, coming up in the full forecast, we will take a look at our temperature trends because there's not a whole lot of rain in the forecast. And it's Thursday, so I'll be joined by a little weather helper.
We're looking forward to it. All right, Blaze, thank you. Well, federal prosecutors are close to making a decision on whether to seek an indictment against former FBI Director James Comey. As Natalie Brand reports, it comes as President Trump has publicly called on his attorney general to look into Comey as a key deadline nears.
Really bad things. He was a terrible person, did terrible things.
For years, President Trump has clashed with former FBI Director James Comey, who he fired during his first term.
Clapper and Comey and that whole group of criminals, they're criminals, and they made it very tough. You know, they did the fake Russia witch hunt, that lasted for 2 years.
Multiple sources tell CBS News federal prosecutors are now considering bringing a case against Comey before a grand jury. There are reports they're looking into charging him with lying to Congress when he testified in 2020 about the FBI's investigation into Russian interference in the 2016 presidential election.
I stand by what the testimony you summarized that I gave in May of 2017.
The 5-year statute of limitations runs out Tuesday, and just days ago, President Trump publicly urged Attorney General Pam Bondi to look into Comey and other political opponents. He posted on social media, "Justice must be served now." Over the weekend, the president also ousted the U.S. Attorney of the Eastern District of Virginia, the office handling the case. A former personal attorney to Trump, Lindsay Halligan, is now serving as the interim head there.
You don't want a universe in which that pressure distorts the prosecutorial judgment. It makes prosecutors make charging decisions based not on the evidence, but on what they think will please the president.
A grand jury would have to approve an indictment. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
CBS News reached out to the U.S. Attorney's Office in Virginia and an attorney for Comey, but no responses from them yet. Coming up next on News 3 Now at noon, how Honda is pulling the plug of production on one of its vehicles, plus why the White House is warning federal agencies to prepare for mass firings.
Congress has until October 1st to pass a budget bill to keep the federal government funded. Now the White House is warning federal agencies to prepare for mass firings should the government shut down next week. According to an Office of Management and Budget memo obtained by CBS News, departments are advised to consider sending reduction of force notices for programs, projects, and activities that lose funding and that do not align with the president's priorities. Congressional Democrats have described the memo as intimidation, as the White House has publicly blamed the party for the stalemate over passing a clean funding bill. Honda is pulling the plug on production of the Acura ZDX electric crossover SUV, which was assembled by General Motors plant in Tennessee. In a statement, the Japanese car maker cited market conditions for its decision to stop making the vehicle. The move comes as U.S. federal tax credits for EV purchases are set to expire next week. And Ford is recalling more than 100,000 2020 and 2021 F-250, F-350, and F-450 pickup trucks. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, the steering column upper shaft could separate while the vehicles are in operation, causing a loss of steering and increasing the risk of a crash. NHTSA says Ford is not aware of any accidents related to the issue. Impacted owners will be notified starting next month to take their vehicles to the dealership for a free repair. That's your CBS News Money Watch report. For more, log on to cbsmoneywatch.com. At the CBS Broadcast Center, I'm Jesse Mitchell.
Here's a look at the current stock numbers at the noon hour. The Dow's down 136 points, NASDAQ down 108, and the S&P 500 down this hour 30. Pam has today's farm numbers after the break, and Blaze is tracking the first warn forecast. Then later on Live at 4, Middleton Mayor Emily Kuhn stops by to talk about launching her bid for re-election. Welcome back. Let's check in now with Pam Yankee for the Midwest Farm Report. Hi, Pam.
Hi, Josh. Beautiful day for folks that are traveling, and boy, there are plenty traveling. Headed the road to Madison, World Dairy Expo. The cows started arriving at the Alliant Energy Center grounds earlier this morning. One of the state veterinarians let me know that it was a steady stream and will continue to be a steady stream into the afternoon hours. Remember, World Dairy Expo officially begins starting next Tuesday at the Alliant Energy Center, but there will be plenty of activity around Alliant Energy Center between now and then. Not only the cows arriving, but commercial exhibitors are also going to be moving in with that big day happening on Monday. Speaking of dairy, want to congratulate some of the 4 exceptional dairy processors in Wisconsin that are being recognized by the Wisconsin Cheesemakers. Organic Valley Crop Cooperative has been named their Advocate of the Year. Masters Gallery Foods, their Employer of the Year. AgriPoor is Sustainable Stewardship Award winners. And Nasonville Dairy Culture of Excellence Award. They'll all be recognized later in the month of October at the Wisconsin Cheesemakers annual meeting. That's going to be up in Green Bay. We are paying attention to a new alert from the Wisconsin Department of Ag, Trade, and Consumer Protection. High-path avian influenza has reappeared in Wisconsin. Positive test and confirmation from the labs that a flock in Jefferson County has tested positive. It is that time of the year, folks, where we see migratory birds that are moving over Wisconsin by the millions. Biosecurity, again, something that we're going to be talking about out at World Dairy Expo. No cases of high-path avian influenza in our dairy population. But like I said, when that pathogen is present, we all have to be on high alert. So when I literally get done here with the noon show, I'm headed out to World Dairy Expo to talk to the veterinarians about what questions they're asking of producers and what documentation we're asking for before those animals are a part of the big show. Speaking of the big show, don't forget my big show coming up next year. I'd love for you to join me on our next farm adventure, going to London, Wales, and the Isle area around London and Wales. Dates in that, March, and in fact, I'm going to be shooting a little video to invite you in later this afternoon. You can go to holidayvacations.com, enter my name, Pam, in the search, and you'll see the details there. Details in the marketplace, keeping an eye on dairy. Milk production from the major dairy producing states went up. Cow numbers are also up, and I'm afraid that's going to pressure our markets. Today in Chicago, barrel cheese was unchanged at $1.64.5. 40-pound block cheese dropped 1/4 cent, $1.63 3/4. But Josh, we talked about it yesterday. Today, butter up 2 cents at $1.64 a pound. But believe it or not, that is still one of the lowest butter prices we've seen since about 2021. So, again, encouraging anybody that plans on that holiday baking or just wants to know that they've got a good deal in the freezer, buy your butter now.
Yeah, time to stock up. And Pam, we're going to have to link up out at the Dairy Expo. I'm going to be there featuring in the 608 next week. So you'll be hearing from me.
Beautiful. Good. Look for my truck. I'll have hot coffee for you.
Oh, that sounds like a dream right there. All right, Pam, have a good one.
See you later.
Well, the True North Music and Food Festival is happening at the Duck Pond on Saturday. The festival features some of Madison's best chefs and emerging regional music. Our partner, Madison Magazine, is a proud sponsor of the event. Tickets can be found at truenorthfest.com and start at $15. $2 from every ticket sold will benefit Days and the Dane County Food Collective. Well, we have a stretch of dry weather ahead. Meteorologist Blaze Keller has the first warn forecast with our little furry friend today. Hi, Blaze.
This is Peanut. Let me make sure that you guys can hear me well. This is Peanut, and we're going to learn more about Peanut after weather, of course, as we do every Thursday. She's going to help me, and truly, she's living up to her name. She's just a little Peanut. And as you mentioned, Josh, we are going to be sitting underneath some dry weather here as we head into the rest of the extended forecast. There's not looking to be a whole lot of rain, not only going into the weekend and the rest of this week, but even beyond that. We'll take a look at what the extended forecast has for us in terms of rain chances and temperatures in just a second. But bigger picture wise, take a look at what we can expect for the rest of Thursday into Friday. Maybe some passing clouds, especially further to the east on Friday, but high pressure is going to be moving on in, and high pressure systems, they earn the name fair weather friend because that's what they bring. Plenty of sunshine and light wind, usually together, sometimes one or two. This time we're going to get both, and eventually those winds will turn out of the south, Miss Peanut, and what that means is we're going to warm on up. So as we head into the weekend, starting Friday, but through the weekend, we're going to hang out in those low to mid 80s as we begin to go into the first weekend of fall. We usually say goodbye to 80s in late September, so this isn't unheard of. As leaves continue to change, we'll eventually start to cool on down, but for now, we're going to hang on to these warm temperatures. Take a look at our forecast highs compared to normal all the way through at least the following weekend. Every single day is nearly 10 to 15 degrees above average. So this is going to be just a nice, warm, dry stretch. There may be a little bit of humidity in there at times because our winds are going to turn out of the south. But in terms of rain chances to really pull some of that humidity out of the air, it's just not looking too great. A near 100% chance of being warmer than average there. That's that bullseye right in parts of South and North Dakota and Minnesota. So that means we're sitting at about a 80 to 90% chance of being warmer than average through the end of our extended forecast. And then if we extend that out even further to 8 to 14 days, we still are sitting underneath that bullseye of being at least, I would say, 70 to 80% chance warmer than average. Is that by degree? Is that by several degrees? Miss Peanut here will have to decide as she's biting my finger, but we're not seeing any real crazy warm-ups, and obviously we're not seeing any crazy cool-downs either. We almost had 2 full weeks of being warmer than average. Yesterday with the late clearing clouds, we were actually the first cooler than average day since the 9th of September. So we've really flipped the script on how September has played out, especially in the Madison area. We're now about 1.5 degrees warmer than average from the start of the month through yesterday's date. Your little teeth, they hurt. There is a look at the fall report if you want to go do some sightseeing this weekend. You don't have to travel super far over there on in parts of Kenosha and Racine counties. The leaves are beginning to change, but obviously up north they're getting to near peak. So maybe we take a trip to the northeast. And you can take little Peanut with you. There is a look at that 10-day forecast. Nothing but sunshine and dry conditions.
Yeah, Peanut was looking at your weather clicker there, too.
I know. She's a little mischievous. Don't let the small size fool you.
All right, Blaze and Peanut, we'll see you here in just a couple of minutes. We got to get to Howard now, who's making brisket in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen using just one kitchen appliance.
Just because you love meat so tender that it falls off the bone doesn't mean you need to spend all day in the kitchen. It does mean that you need to dig out your pressure cooker or Instant Pot. And for those of you who don't have either, let me tell you, you're missing out. Not only do they cook super quick, but today's versions of these are safer than ever. Here's a brisket that would take hours if we cooked it traditionally, but watch how fast it can be made using our pressure cooker. After rubbing it with a homemade spice blend, we place it in our pressure cooker on a trivet. That ensures the meat won't scorch while it cooks. Over that goes a sauce that we made by combining brown sugar, vinegar, water, ketchup, and liquid smoke. Now we top that with some sliced onions and place the lid on. After making sure the lid is locked, we set it to cook for about 50 minutes. Once it's fork tender, we'll take it out. And since the pan drippings will be loaded with flavor, we'll thicken them up with a bit of cornstarch. Then we carve this across the grain, spoon on the flavor pack sauce, and get ready for some good eating. Maybe pile some on a crusty roll so you can dig in without picking up a fork. To get the recipe for our cowboy brisket, all you need to do is visit our website. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a cowboy quick way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
After the break, we'll introduce you to our pet of the week, along with Blaze. That's next at noon. Time for Potentially Yours here on a Thursday afternoon. Lisa Bernard is with us. We're from the Dane County Humane Society and our pet of the week, who we already met, Peanut, doing the weather.
Miss Peanut, tell us about her.
So this is Peanut. She is very, very sweet. Mm-hmm. She's about 2 months almost. She was found with 10 other kittens in Madison last month. And she's the last one to find a home. The kittens were different. It was like 2 different litters. Okay. So, but she loves to explore, as we have seen. She likes adventure. She's very curious. She's very friendly. And I don't know why you're nibbling on me today.
Yeah, she was nibbling on me too.
Yeah.
Not me. It's just you guys.
Tea tonight. Well, you're next to her. You're in the chomping zone.
I ate a cheese stick earlier. But Peanut is super friendly, super sweet, loves to play. And when she's ready for snuggles, she's a big purr and she'll just totally curl up on you and just want little naps, right?
But right now she's being adventurous.
She is being very adventurous. And it's very cute because she's only 2 pounds right now. She's obviously growing. But while she does seem small, she's quite mighty
Yeah.
with her personality
And fast.
and her meows.
She'll take off. Don't let the small size fool you.
Yes.
Because she's small, taking her into a new home, what's the best way to make sure that she's not exploring and like getting into places that she might get stuck in or we might not find her?
Yep. So you might want to start her off in a smaller room, like maybe a bedroom that you've already outfitted with, taking out cords and stuff so she doesn't chew on things, or maybe a bathroom.
Oh, yeah.
But keeping the water and food further away from the litter boxes, just because they like their space with that stuff.
Yeah.
And giving her time to get used to that, grow, and getting used to her as she's exploring, and then opening it up even more and more as she's getting bigger. So
Well, we're going to find Peanut a home.
Oh, yes.
Going to be no issues there. Hey, just a couple of days left, a bit over 200 incredible items in the Bark and Wine silent auction. We're talking about a lot of items here, and you can do that by this weekend. Again, 5:30 on Saturday. Hey, an update on last week's pet. The puppy Don was adopted. So if you're interested in adopting Peanut, just check out the Dane County Humane Society. Thanks for joining us today at noon. The Bold and the Beautiful is straight ahead.